No. You could only truly be kind once you are a monster. So now you have some duality there. Don't you feel like there's some reality to that? Don't you also feel like what we are as humans isn't the problem we're trying to solve? Perhaps maybe we're here to do good and not solve what we are, but perhaps learn to live with it and accept it and to set ourselves free from the shame of our own existence that we tend to think that we are actually on the right track with, but we're not because we still haven't understood why we're here to do good. And, well, yeah, we all talk about like, oh, I can't do good if you're like that. So the next morning I wake up. I actually had a few dreams. I think you guys would like these dreams. It was a dream where I kept seeing this one kid get bullied by this older skinhead. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, but like in high school, there are some kids that are born with adult bodies. And there's some psychopaths that'll buzz their head fucking clean, like a skinhead. And the sole purpose of those archetypes is to just fucking bring out the motherfucker in the sweeter kids. Not nicer ones, the sweeter kids. So we often look at that guy as we go, oh, he's the worst thing that ever happened. And so I kept seeing this small kid. The kid was small, maybe 5'1", and this fucking skinhead was 4 years older, built, 165 pounds at least, and vicious. And I'd keep seeing him beat on the kid, and I'd grab him, and I would kill him. But he'd keep coming back to life, and he'd keep beating on the kid. And every time I would kill him, he would get angrier and more viciously beat up the little kid, or the young boy. And so I'm thinking about it. I took a moment and I separate myself from it. I'm like, I can't stop this fucking skinhead. And I said, whoa, I need to help the kid fight for himself. Once I helped the kid fight for himself, he earned the bully's respect, and the bully voluntarily stopped fighting. So to show you that these internal clicks happen on a subconscious level, why? You want deeper connections to the discoveries, so your dreams will present them in surreal aspects of life, and then reality will present it in reality, and it will feel surreal. Now you're existing like this. There's that spiral I was talking about, that flow I'm talking about. And so I realized, I said, whoa, this monster that I was in rejection of, trying to kill, when I equipped the aspect of me to be like a monster, it gained the respect and the, like in movies, you win somebody in combat. The unrelentless dedication and loyalty to goodness. It just needed to be beaten. But we're also afraid of being like it when we forget the big picture in life, which is you need to be able to fight it to earn its respect so it fights beside you. But you're too busy rejecting it. You're fighting for other people's wars, not helping other people do that for themselves. I was the kid, existing in the third person, realizing you can't kill anybody else's demons. You need to be the one to build yourself up. And by the way, I would watch him fight with the bully, and I would want to step in. And I'm sure, Kevin, you know this. You're going to hear stories about your kids struggling, and you're going to want to step in. This kid is you. It's every single one of you, this kid is you. Give him the tools. Give him the tools. You cannot stop that bully. It's a part of reality that brings the best out of you. You don't want to take that away from the kid. And I think every father knows that deep down, that the goal isn't to make your kid not a monster and put that other bully in timeout. It's to make him strong enough to fucking get that guy into a headlock and give him a noogie. And every time he throws a punch, it's fucking slow motion because you're Spider-Man. That will become your best friend. But instead, due to our immaturity, we look at it as the problem. Of course, in reality, it's a little different, but in a dream, it's a contextualization of a bigger message. And the dream goes on. I had another dream in relationship to shame. I was at this religious organization, and I was actually speaking against people's relationship with religion because I think it's one big coping mechanism that doesn't allow them to find who they are. I noticed in the bleachers was a bunch of young men and women who just wanted to fuck each other, so that's why they'd go to these organizations. I was wearing a suit, a completely black suit. I'm 24 years old. I'm not a conventional young guy, not at all, by no circumstances. So I will scare a lot younger people, especially the more playful types. I guess say not the more playful types, the more consciously unaware types, the ones that want to party and drink and just kind of go, we'll figure it out by tomorrow. And I sit in the bleacher and all the young kids get up and leave. The head organizer comes up to me and says, the things that you say are not allowed here. What does that feel like? Rejection, shame, right? And That's how I knew I was doing the right thing. I said, wow, that's amazing. They're running away. I'm doing the right thing. Oh, the fucking head organizer of the event is saying what I'm saying is shit. And then the one thing that made me call her out was she's like, I know that you're successful because you have that car outside. And I was like, this is how I know everything that you do here is a projection of your ego in the name of goodness. You're no better than Hitler. You believe you're doing the right thing, but you've never challenged the integrity of what you present. You hide behind grandiose and virtue, and all you present is destruction. How do I know? You talked about the fucking car I drive. Pathetic. And I walked out. And just so you know, my convertible roof is kind of broken, but in the dream it completely opened, which is interesting. No separation. So I woke up this morning. It's overwhelming, man. It's also something I have to consciously come back to and accept. Why is it that we demonize the capacity that we can give good with when that handicaps ourself in our ability to give good? Emotions are no different. If what you are is a monster, and you've created only negative associations to that, just remember the kind of monster you become when you function on the back end. Not only do you tell yourself you're unconscious, you project the monster onto those that are good. Congratulations. You are now in hell. There is no salvation. And guess what? You've dug your grave. Now you can sleep in it. That's most people's lives. But something calls us. Something beyond calls us. If you guys want to talk about divine kindness, look at your life. See the crisis. Look at the things that wake you up. Maybe in Alan's relationships. Maybe in Michael's persona. But if all of these things are a manifestation of the shame that you haven't confronted, think about the man that you can be if you accepted that you're a monster. And think about how much more conscious you'll be when you actually give. And think about how much more you will challenge yourself to the capacity that you can give with. And now, you can actually be, by the way, a father. Because you're no longer like, by the way, which is what all fathers do, by the way, and it fucking kills young boys and girls. They look at a characteristic, like if they see a girl dance, a little girl dance, and then she starts like, and by the way, anybody who's been around girls, little girls will do weirdly erotic sexual things. And as fathers, if you're not aware of that, you'll be like, all right, enough dancing. You'll get uncomfortable. They'll feel a rejection to an aspect of themselves that's fundamentally monstrous, some would say, right? But there's something about somebody who connects to that and loves it, can give that love and guide people to utilize it for a higher purpose, okay? The misfits aren't misfits. They just need something to fight. And honestly, you guys need that. You look at your life and you realize like, no. Because I accepted the thing that I've so demonized for so long in my life, I can now be there for others and love them. And it's not hard for me to give. I am born to do that. It is not hard for me to work. I am fulfilled through it. You know that? It's like so easy to be motivated. It's not like, I'm not connected to my purpose. What's the hobby I want to have? As you go through the checkbox. No, it's who you are in life fulfills you. Not what you do. It's who you are. But you can't receive what you are because you constantly reject it at a fundamental level. If you guys are all monsters, I could find a monster in every single one of you, and it would be my life's purpose. I would feel so much fulfillment from it. I would light up with joy and laugh like the Joker. I would love it so much. Because I have. I've done it with Ravi. I've done it with Jordan. Alan's new. Michael's new. You guys quite literally haven't paid for it. And I make this very clear. If you haven't, you're not ready. You're not ready. I want to show you the monster that you are. Alessandro shot the other day. What did he do? He was there. He was there for me when I met Concierge Girl. He felt the exact same thing he was feeling on me. I said, brother, I need to call you back. I am in no place to coach you right now. And he said, whatever, man, always a pleasure. This man has seen the monster that he is. The father that would look at him with monstrous eyes, by the way, and yell at him and scream at him. He doesn't live with hatred anymore. You are it. You just need to do better. A lot of people who reject who they are and then connect to a higher ideal, hide behind the ideal with what they are. People that know who they are first and then connect to the ideal can evolve it, expand it, share it, and live it because they can hold it. And you're going to need to be a monster to hold the weight of the ideal. Fucking hell. That's a lot. But you know what? It doesn't just mean that you're just going to be in monstrously good shape or whatever it is. We're not talking about that. We're talking about what you're capable of doing to others because of the shame that you hide behind. There's a few things you could hide behind. You could hide behind narratives. You could hide behind God, which is the most moronic idea ever. You could hide behind institutions. You can hide behind emotions, such as, oh, I was grieving. No, grief was your ability to rationalize what you did. Oh, I was angry. That was your ability to rationalize what you did. No. That's who you are. You don't think that that makes people feel safer? Then you can forgive yourself for what you did in that level. And then you can confront what you're afraid of without being a coward. But my God, in your life, all you see that comes out of your eyes, you're a coward, 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 you're a coward. But you haven't started with the one thing that even stops you from facing your fears. What are you? Who are you? What are you deserving of? What are these desires? What animates you? And think about what you're going to need to be in order to get there. So often the parts of yourself that you reject the most are the things that will set you free in your life. I remember saying this in the women's group, but if it was up to me and somebody told me I was a monster at the age of 18, I would have cut my balls off and I would have joined a monastery. I was so afraid that even when a woman with tender, sweet care who works for me presented me the answer, you know what I said? I need to work out. I gotta go. Our hangout's over. I dipped out. And you know what she said? It's kind of embarrassing to see a guy like you run. Oof. Ego was like, a guy like me, I'll show you. Which is why you guys need a challenge. It rattles your ego. I do think it's rich, though. Don't you think it's rich that you guys are imperfect? You could accept yourself for it. You're just going to need to do the hard part, which is lead with it. I've been leading with it lately. Monstrous capacity. Monstrous ability. You know, I also like to not show off. There's shame in showing off, you know. Well, only if you don't accept what you are, which is massive. But you know, the thing about a monster is, if you guys can contextualize it, it is the avenue to free will. And I was thinking about it. It was like, why is a big government such a problem? Because they make choices for you. Wouldn't you just much rather they trust that you make the best choices for yourself? But what do they fundamentally believe? That some people are unconscious and they don't deserve it. So let's let the elites handle the free will as you get kicked out of your own homes, as you get fucking taxed to the grave, as they tell you the kind of things you need to know and what makes you educated. What a fucking life. So once you guys connect to this, you'll find a level of freedom and realization. I found myself far more social. I found myself far more connected to people. Wow. And by the way, you know what's so crazy? When I was in New York, I'm a social person. I felt like these people were my friends. That's how connected to them I was. I was actually, by the way, have you guys ever had this? You ever went out on your own and you kind of notice how you socialize different? And then when you go out with your friends? I thought I was going out with my friends when I was thousands and thousands of miles from home. That made me look around like, I'm not alone. I'm here with me. There is something with me that is divine, that I'm not disconnected from. And I give from that place. And I just remember talking to everybody that I just was connected to. I didn't put up projections. That was the best part. When I was at the wedding and I got rid of the I'm the monster projection. I had nothing but love remaining for those people. I just realized we're different. I didn't do this whole glorifying, romanticizing, they left me because I'm a monster. No. I was just like, I was projecting that onto them to run away from perhaps maybe them seeing that in me. But when I was at the harbor with my friend and I told him, hey, slow down, do you feel that? I let him see me. And with the heart that he had, he accepted me. And then the phone started ringing with my coach. Naftali. You guys ever think about it this way? In life, you need to be open to looking at the bush that burns in a desert, or bushes burn, by the way, that catch fire. I know we think that that's not such a crazy anomaly. Happens all the time in deserts. Dry weeds catch fire from hot sun. You need to be willing in the heat of the day, when you're a shepherd, to look at the bush that burns and ask yourself a question. Why does it keep burning? And I asked myself a question when I looked at my friend. Why is he still talking to me? Why hasn't he run? What is he seeing? Let's unveil this together. And then what calls from the bush, right? Or what called from my phone, because you have always access to it. Moses, Moses, right? Hey, here I am, right? Naftali, Naftali, here I am. So there's a sense of presence that you have in your life. And you have to be willing to look at the burning bush and ask yourself a question. Why does it keep burning? Look at the person in front of you and go, why are you still talking to me, right? What about this is persisting, although the state of it makes no sense based off my own experiences? And you could set yourself free. Guys, this kind of freedom I feel, I think I could start a revolution, and I want you guys behind it. I don't think that the way that we live life right now is worth living. And you are very few. At this wedding, I saw a married couple. The girl was gorgeous. They had a kid together. The guy was fucking scrolling on TikTok as he was next to his wife, who had her tits out. There is no more cognitive dissonance that I've ever seen in my whole life. She was flirting with me right in front of this guy. And she said, what do I do? And I said, I wake people up from the quiet misery that they live. Then the guy put down his phone and looked at me and felt shame. Welcome to the club, Chief. You're human. You're going to feel shame. You're going to feel shame until you discover the depth of your humanity that looked like a monster. Okay? Once you find that, you can be kind. You will no longer hide behind institutions. You will bound yourself to a higher ideal, and you will do good, because that is your only alternative. That or be a coward. And if men were presented with that, they would do something about it. But instead, it's, hey, how do I not jerk off today? What's happened? What's happened to every one of you? This is a lie that you continue to live. This is a belief that you continue to reinforce. You're a monster. Find an ideal to integrate yourself towards. Connect to both. And then you'll set yourself free. And then you won't have rules to live by. You will live freely, understanding the rules. There's a difference. I really can't make this any more clear. This needs to stop. It needs to stop. What needs to stop is our avoidance of this. And you guys have been facing it. Kevin, 21 years in a marriage? For you to realize that you've done monstrous things, avoiding the monster? Somebody explain that to me. I've done unbearable things, hiding behind other people that I would use as puppets to give you the concept of the monster that I am. I would make the biggest animal dance like a monkey. And I still couldn't even see what would come out of my fucking eyes. I still couldn't see it. Until God was like, oh, you're in New York? You thought you could run? You remember that girl that you would bump into almost every single other week ever since that incident? Here she is. She's the fucking concierge of the hotel. Try looking away now, bitch. Yeah, that's what happens. Try looking away now. You can't look away. Your life is your own. Do you believe that? You are made to be you. But what are you? Right? People say that you're made to be you, and they're like, oh, I'm going to be goofy. No, you're made to be a monster because a monster has free will. You guys ever think about this? Your life literally means nothing. This conversation is empty if free will isn't applicable, if it doesn't exist. Like nothing means anything if your choices don't matter. Well, free will is not really that important. No. We need to know that we have a level of choice, although it's very minimal. We need to know that. We need to know that. Because if not, it's just your past experiences determine your future ones, and delusion is what saves us. So pretty much anything that's not God is the Redeemer. So you'll look to the devil. He's more promising. Which is, by the way, we have a very, very Satanistic culture in the United States. Very, very. It's almost like ridiculous. It's not good because it's one-dimensional, just as one-dimensional as altruism is, or Puritanism. So I want this to bring out something, because, can you guys see the disgust of your own mask in relationship to what you want to present? But can you also accept the difficulty of presenting the truth? Just that, please. I want you to be disgusted with the mask that you wear. Because there is nothing more ugly than that. And because the funny thing is, what do we do? A person with shame builds a beautiful mask, but what's under the mask is ugly. But what's more ugly than a mask? It's not real. So what we end up doing, the person with a lot of shame becomes very performative. I decorated the most beautiful mask in the world. I look at it just so I could understand what I was avoiding and why I said this is more beautiful than that. That was due to my own traumas and immaturities about life in relationship to how I think things are supposed to be. You know what kept me stuck in a bubble, kept me away from beautiful women, kept me away from beautiful women, kept me broke? It was just my ego. That's it. That's it. Your baseline is greatness and unconditional love. Okay. By the way, and I want you guys to know something. I need you to trust yourself with this belief. It's a lot of power. So I also need you to understand there's another aspect to this monster. The essence of who you are is going to be, and I can tell you my essence, maybe you guys can pick that up. Soft, gentle, sensitive. Okay? That's my nature. That's my essence. But I'm a monster. So if I don't lead with it, I'll get other people to do it for me. And this is the thing that's so sick. It makes me disgusted. It makes me want to throw up. I feel that way. I feel that way in relationship to sometimes when I speak, because there's so much purging that needs to be done with our own disgust and our own behaviors. And what makes it disgusting is not so much that you would do those things, but that you think that you don't.